Hi, my name is Jeff Adams. I'm a volunteer for the City of Roslyn Cemetery Commission. This project is the Roslyn kiosk up in the historic Roslyn cemeteries. Back in 2017, this kiosk was started by some ideas in the Cemetery Commission from Dick Watts. And the idea was a gathering spot for people that enjoyed time up at the cemetery, and also this interpretive kiosk over here to my right. That was something that he's always wanted to do, which captures all the history of the residents buried here as people give our information. From 2017, we took the ideas from the kiosk and the Cemetery Commission, and we brought those to Al Montgomery of Montgomery Design in Clallam, Washington, who'd volunteered his services to design and draw up the kiosk as we needed, and however we'd like the design. And he took all those ideas, and this is the project that we came up with. It is absolutely Al Montgomery's design, and he just nailed it for the city of Roslyn. And back to that, what that did is that led into a grant process to fund it, which in 2018 we received a grant from the state, which Dick Watts followed up on. And from then on, we gathered our volunteers, and obviously some of this project needed funding, from other resources besides the grant, and Suncadia Enhancement Fund was one, PSE was another. Several other businesses locally in Club of Roslyn have donated to this project to get it here. So we started with a bunch of volunteers. We came and laid this process out, this building out, and Alfie Dubé with Dubé Concrete volunteered to do all the concrete and foundation, and we paid for the concrete, and he paid for all the labor and did all this grandiose work himself. And from that point on, I found a contractor friend of mine that was very interested in helping out. And so he basically, at that point, we lessened his fees to be able to build this structure for us, and it fit within the budget that we had to build it. The local lumber supplier gave us extreme discounts on the lumber purchase for this. So it was just really a community effort to save funding and get this thing built. Several subs have contributed, from electrical subs to roofing contractors and myself, to get this thing finalized and where we're at. PSE worked with us to get power. Of the 130 years this cemetery's been here, we've never had power up in the cemetery, and during this process of COVID, we took that time and we were able to work with PSE, and they gave us some generous donations to get power up here. And we did have to pay for a lot of it, but they still gave us benefits of how to get here. And so now we have power up in the cemetery that we're able to use for many other functions besides lighting in the kiosk, the electrical kiosk. And this is what we ended up with this wonderful structure.
I am Stephen Hackenberger, professor at Central Washington University, an anthropologist and archaeologist. I'm one of several faculty and many students who've been working up here in Roslyn in different heritage projects, including here in the Roslyn cemeteries. I first became most directly involved a few years back with the ground penetrating radar system, and we were working to discover unmarked graves in 3 different cemeteries, including the Slovak cemetery. The ground penetrating radar works to a depth of about 6 feet, and depending on your antenna configurations and the way we set up our cart, you can distinguish graves relatively easily in a setting like this. And what we do is we set up a grid, and we run our cart with the ground penetrating radar along the lines, X and Y lines in the grid. And then we download our data. It's like a fish finder, but for the earth instead of the water. We download our data and we process it in the computer. And we can look at profiles of our radar scans, or we can compile those together and look down in slices like layer cake to see where the graves are. The obvious graves, the larger graves, adults with caskets, show up very clearly. But we've also been searching for infants and children's graves, and graves that sometimes are not as deep or don't have caskets. So here in the cemetery, there are 5,000 known individuals by name, but there's only 4,000 marked graves. So the ground penetrating radar is something we're going to continue to work with cemetery by cemetery. The mapping we're doing here is across all of the cemeteries. So the mapping supports both locating the graves, but also interpreting the graves, because the Heritage Club and Cemetery Association have been collaborating on a website and a kiosk here that will share genealogical information and even personal individual stories of the folks buried in the different cemeteries, the 26 different cemeteries. Today, we're actually up here working in the African American cemetery. We're using 3 types of mapping technology. We get a great benefit from working up here in the cemeteries with our students in terms of education, everything we're learning in terms of technology, but also a purpose and objective in sharing this work with the community and the leaders of the Cemetery Association and the Heritage Club. So we are learning as much, if not more, here by working in these collaborations.
My name is Maria Adams, and I am part of the Roslyn Cemetery Committee from the Heritage Club. We've been working on this project for just a little under 2 years. We've put this kiosk stand in just last fall, early winter. We've turned the computer on back in the early spring, and it is beautiful. I'm going to show you how and what we're doing as far as inputting names and data into our computer. So this is the St. Barbara Croatian, and you can see when we go, and you can do this from home, we have some photos that are specific to the cemetery itself. We're going to go, I'll show you the 2. This is so you can see the photos of the cemetery. I'm going to close this out. If I can, there we go. This is the Ostertich family. They have submitted some of the members of their family who are buried in the St. Barbara Cemetery. And we have a record that shows a picture, some of the information. She was a child, so there's not a lot of information on her as far as, her occupation and that kind of thing. But this is a little bit of a hazy picture, but you can see that we've been able to input family photos. We've also been able to, there's an article that has a little bit more about the Ostertich family. So newspaper articles, obituaries, all those type of things we're able to enter into the computer and create a picture that shows the person's life and what some of the different aspects of their life, more than just the data, the rough data. We're trying to paint a picture and show stories. And this here is their family tree that they also submitted. And so it kind of shows the relationship of where she is in the family tree. And here's a beautiful photo. These are great. We're trying to get photos of everyone that's in their family and who are buried here. So this is a great photo that shows their photos. This is a little close-up of her from that older photo, so those don't show as good. Another photo of her, and I love this one. Isn't that a great picture from the family home? Zbogom blato i blatu divne, zbogom blato i blatu divne, zbogom blato i blatu divne, s kojima sam muža pasat vrime, s kojima sam muža pasat vrime.